Hey guys, what's going on? Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. I found some more Kamigawa Neon Dynasty content. So now we're going back to like present. I know the quality of the picture isn't that great, but I can read it to you at least. So this is Junji, the Midnight Sky, for free generic and double black. He is a legendary dragon spirit with flying and menace, 5/5. Whenever it dies, each opponent, so choose one, each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Yeah, I'm not certain. Or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose 2 life. So we have cards that are able to put creature cards into any graveyard, whether that's ours or our opponents. And then we have sort of like cards we want to reanimate and or cards that utilize what we're doing, like the discard or the reanimating sort of thing. So let's get started with Sewer Nemesis. 2/3 generic, and a black is a horror, and when enters battlefield, you choose a player. Its power toughness are each equal to the number of cards in the chosen player's graveyard. And whenever the chosen player casts a spell, that player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So pretty nice. Abyssal Spectre, for 2 generic, double black, is a specter with flying, 2/3, and when it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. Desecration Demon, for 2 generic and double black, is a demon with flying, 6/6, and at the beginning of each combat, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap Desecration Demon and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Liliana, Dreadhorde General, 4 generic and double black. She is a legendary planeswalker who comes in with 6 loyalty and has a static ability of whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. +1, create 2/2 black zone creature token. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Flesh Carver for 2 generic and black. It is a human wizard with Intimidate 2/2, meaning that can only be blocked by creatures that share a color with it and or artifact creatures. For 1 generic and a black, you can sacrifice the creature to it to put 2 +1/+1 counters on Flesh Carver, and whenever it dies, you put an XX black or creature token onto the battlefield with Rex's Flesh Carver's power. Torment of Scarabs, 3 generic and a black, is an enchantment or a curse. Enchant player, at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 3 life unless he or she sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Urgaros, the empty one for 4 generic and double black. He is a legendary, he or it, I guess I should say, is a legendary specter flying 4/3. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If the player can't, you draw a card. So take advantage of the discard option. The Haunt of Hightower for 4 generic double black. It is a legendary vampire with flying and lifelink 3/3. Whenever it attacks, the fleeing player discards a card. Whenever a card is put into a opponent's graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on the Haunt of Hightower, so this thing can get bigger and cause your opponents to discard cards and gain you back a bunch of life. So it allows you to keep reanimating stuff, because every time you reanimate something with Junji, it causes you to have to pay 2 life. Scourge of Neltorth for 5 generic and double black. Creature zombie dragon, flying 6/6. Now I know we can't reanimate this with Junji. I don't know if I said this before, but it has to be a non-dragon creature. But instead, we're gonna reanimate this guy the way it was intended to be reanimated by paying double black and sacrificing 2 creatures rather than paying its mana cost and casting, and as a result, being able to cast it from its graveyard. From our graveyard, excuse me. Riding Regisaur for 2 generic and a black. It is a zombie dinosaur. That states at the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card, 7/6. Altar of Dementia for 2 generic. It's an artifact that you can sacrifice a creature to mill target player for cards equal to that creature's power, or I guess force target player to put a number of cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power from the top of their library into their graveyard. That's what it kind of officially says. By Erection, Altar 3 generic. It's an artifact that you can sacrifice a creature to add 1 mana of any one color. In this case, black. Astronaut's Altar for 3 generic. It's an artifact that you can sacrifice a creature to add double colorless mana to your mana pool. Fire of Heroes for 2 generic. It's an artifact that, for 2 generic, you can tap it and sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrifice creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature card's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. I didn't really necessarily think about this, but you can probably find something better, like Nyx Lotus, because since you're playing like mono black, you'll have only devotion to black. I mean, you are reanimating stuff, but still, mostly devotion black or Great Mission of Asphodel. That's another option. Fleshbag Marauder, for 2 generic and black, is a zombie warrior 3/1. That when it enters the battlefield, it requires each player to sacrifice a creature. Playcrafts are the same thing, except if for each player you can't, that person discards a card. 3/2 for 2 generic and black. Undercity Informer for 2 generic and black is a human rogue for 1 generic. You can sacrifice creatures to it and have target player reveal cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land card. Put all those cards into his or her graveyard. Oh, excuse me. 2/3. Blackbridge Troll for 3 generic and double black. It is a troll with trample and haste, 8/8. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/01 white goat creature tokens and beginning of combat on your turn. An opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, Blackbridge Troll is then tapped as a result, and you gain 3 life and you draw a card. Attrition for 1 generic and double black is an enchantment that's from 1 black. You sacrifice a creature to it to destroy target non-black creature. Hell's Caretaker for 3 generic and a black is a 4/1/1 that you can tap and sacrifice a creature to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. But that ability can only be activated during your upkeep. Recurring Nightmare for 2 generic and black is an enchantment that you can sacrifice a creature to and return it to its owner's hand, and then return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. However, you can only activate this anytime you can cast a sorcery, so mostly only on your turn. In this case, your turn. Excuse me. For 3 generic and triple black, we have Dread. It's an elemental incarnation with fear, meaning only black creatures and artifact creatures can block this, if I'm not correct. 6/6. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. So this is combat damage like any at all. So say like a creature an opponent controls has an activated ability of some sort, or like a triggered ability, whatever it may be, and that creature deals damage to you, well, Dread here is gonna end up destroying it because of that. And whenever Dread is put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. That can actually keep you around in the game for a pretty long time, depending on how you block. Rule Caller Giza, for 3 generic and double black. She is a legendary human wizard. 3/4. For black, you can tap and sacrifice another creature to her to put X 2/2 black summon creature tokens onto the battlefield. Rex is the sacrifice creature's power. Razaketh the foul-blooded, 5 generic control with black. He is a legendary demon, flying, trample, 8/8. Then you can pay 2 life and sacrifice another creature to him to search your library for a card and put that card into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Sheldred, the whispering one, excuse me, just whispering one. For 5 generic and double black, she is a legendary predator with swamp walk, meaning that if defending player controls a swamp, then this creature cannot be blocked. 6/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each month's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Sazat's Will for 4 generic and a black. It's an instant that you can choose one, but if you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. So option 1, you have each opponent sacrifice a creature they control to greatest power. And then option 2, you exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards and it creates X01 Blackfall creature tokens, which is the greatest power among creature cards exiled this way. So this is nice because this can eliminate some options. Just because a creature has a lot of power doesn't mean it's the best creature that you can reanimate with Junji's Death Trigger. Frankle, Master of Pranks. For 2 generic and double black, he is a legendary fairy rogue with flying and haste 3/3. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you choose any number. So each player discards a card, each player loses 1 life and draws a card, or each player sacrifices a creature. I was about to say draw. I'm okay. Dual Steed for 4 generic and a black is a zombie horse that for 2 generic and a black, you can discard 2 cards to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield attached. It's 4/4. Lord of the Forsaken, 4 generic and double black is a demon with flying and trample, 6/6. That for a black, you can sacrifice another creature to it to have target player mill 3 cards, and then you can pay 1 life and add a colorless. Spend this mana only to cast a spell from your graveyard. This would be kind of useful if we had flashback stuff, but what matters is that part that allows us to sacrifice another creature for a singular black and mill target player for 3 cards. Burning Rune Demon for 4 generic and double black is a demon berserker with flying 6/6. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do, reveal those cards, and opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card into your hand and the rest into your grave, and the other into your graveyard, excuse me. Then shuffle your library so it can help you get something you want in your graveyard and something you want into your hand. Airborne Overlord, I think. 5 generic and double black is a demon with flying 6/6, and when it enters the battlefield, you put a number of 1/1 black sparky creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield, equal to your devotion black. Each black symbol in the mana cost of turn to control counts towards your devotion black. And at the beginning of the upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Whisper, Blood Liturgist. For 2 generic and black, he is a legendary human cleric, 2/2, that you can tap him and sacrifice 2 creatures to him to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Death, Lord of the Vault, 4 generic and double black. He is a legendary zombie with Intimidate, 5/5. And then for X and a black, you can put target artifact or creature card with converted mana cost X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control taps. Then that player mills X cards. Champion of Stray Souls. For 4 generic and double black, is a skeleton warrior 4/4. That for 3 generic and double black, you can tap it and sacrifice X other creatures to it to return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached. Then for 5 generic and double black, you can put it on top of your library from your graveyard. Zombie Infestation for 1 generic and black. Enchantments that you can discard 2 cards to put a 2/2 black on the creature token onto the battlefield. Resurrection Obliterator, quadruple black for a 4 with trample. 5/5, whenever a source deals damage to a Resurrection Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. Drawn on the last Blood Chief. I believe now we are now getting into like sort of cards that like give us value for like playing the way we play. It's like reanimator cards, like cards that like us or our opponents discarding cards or sacrificing stuff, whatever the case may be. Cards that allow us to utilize our command so and what we're doing. So starting off with Drana, the last Blood Chief, 3 generic and double black. She is a legendary vampire cleric, 4/4, flying. Whenever she attacks, defending player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard, and you return that card to the battlefield with a +1 power on it, and that creature is a vampire in addition to its other types. So allows us to reanimate even more. So we could end up putting Junji in our graveyard. And instead of having to pay command attacks, we can just straight up like reanimate him eventually. And that goes with like most of these cards that you've seen that can reanimate creatures. Scroll Primordial, for 5 generic and double black, is an avatar with Intimidate. 5/4, and when it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, you may put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard up to the battlefield under your control. Vampire Hex Mage for double black is a vampire shaman. First strike, 2/1, and you can sacrifice it to remove all counters from target opponent. So this can be very effective in this deck. So if you have like a Dark Depths, you can sacrifice this, you know. But in this deck, I didn't include Dark Depths. That was kind of a mistake. But what you can do with this is weaponize it in a way so that I can get rid of planeswalkers by getting rid of all of said planeswalkers' loyalty. So like your opponent has a Jace out and it's about to ultimate, sacrifice Vampire Hex Mage, and then kill the Jace, and then reanimate it maybe with like Junji's Death Trigger, so that I can get rid of something else maybe, or like remove a bunch of counters from a permanent. So like get rid of a bunch of plus counters on a creature, get rid of a planeswalker entirely. That could be a problem. Very useful. Outside of, you know, being used to combo off with Dark Depths on like turn 2 or 3. Macias the Unhallowed, for 2 generic and triple black. He is a legendary zombie cleric with Intimidate. 5/5, whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Other non-human creatures control get +1/+1 and have Undying. And whenever a creature with Undying dies, if it had no +1/+1 counters on it, returns to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Gravewaker, excuse me, for 4 generic and double black, is a bird spirit with flying. 5/5, with 5 generic and double black. You can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield attack. Phyllis, Broker of Blood, for 5 generic and triple black. He is a legendary demon, excuse me, with flying 8/8. Then for a singular black, and the cost of 2 life, target creature gets -1/-1 until its turn. 2 life being your 2 life, excuse me. And whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. And this goes nicely with our commander, since whenever we reanimate, it causes us to lose life. So in addition to reanimating a creature, that can be very powerful. We also get to draw 2 cards thanks to Phyllis. It could be a lot. It may not be much, but it still helps in the long run. And he can also get rid of creatures and draw your cards in the meantime while he is helping you get rid of creatures. And like I said in the past, minus like X sort of effects, like my or in this is -1/-1, like if it adds up to enough, then it can get rid of like an indestructible creature. In fact, it's one of the only ways other than exile and sending it back to its hand. Because if a creature still has 0 toughness, indestructible or not, it still dies. And if it gets like 0 toughness through minus like power toughness sort of effects, then that will kill it. Boom is here. 4 generic and a black is a zombie wizard. 4/4. Whenever you discard a creature card, create 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, add double black. Whenever you discard a non-creature non-land card, draw a card. Red Hound for 4 generic and double black. We have a demon dog that whenever it's battlefield, mill 3 cards, 6/6. And whenever a creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from a library, each one loses 1 life. So as we're milling and as we are sacrificing stuff and as we're discarding, etc., Dreadhound is causing our opponents to lose life 1 each time to be specific. Excuse me. Desecrated Tomb for 3 generic. It's an artifact that utilizes us reanimating cards because whenever 1 more creature card to leave our graveyard, we create a 1/1 black back creature token with flying. So it can help us create an army due to us reanimating so much. Giza, glorious Resurrector for 2 generic and no black. She is a legendary human wizard. 4/4, and if a creature an opponent controls will die, exile it instead. And at the beginning of the upkeep, put all creature cards active with Giza, glorious Resurrector onto the battlefield under your control. The game can decay. Excuse me. The creature decayed can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. So you can focus on like what's currently in your opponent's graveyard rather than like what could be added. And who knows, you like essentially, you know, this helps you get kind of a 2-in-1 sort of deal, like however many in one sort of deal. You know what I'm saying? Archfiend of Despair for 6 generic and double black is a demon with flying. 6/6. Your opponents can't gain life. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life that player lost this turn. So if you are choosing the discard route for this deck, this is a great card to include in it because along with Junji's death trigger of causing your opponent to discard cards, your opponent is each one is also losing 2 life, I believe. And that can add up pretty quick because Archfiend of Despair essentially like doubles up all damage in a sense. Pretty hefty though, but Junji is there to reanimate him, so. Fell Spectre for 3 generic and a black is a spectre with flying 1/3. Whenever it's battlefield, target opponent discards card, and whenever an opponent discards card, that player loses 2 life. Turok, Dead Cantor for 1 generic and black. He is a legendary human cleric with kicker of double black, meaning you may pay an additional double black to cast a spell. Protection from white, meaning that white colored creatures cannot touch this. White colored enchantments cannot enchant this or like target it. Abilities of like white colored permanents cannot target this creature. White colored creatures cannot deal damage to this, etc. Like white cannot do anything about this creature. 2/1. Whenever an opponent discards a card, put a +++ counter on Turok, Dead Cantor, and whenever he enters the battlefield, if he was kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. And then we have our non-basic lands, and then we have our basic lands. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, legendary land. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land type. Since we're running mono black, it's well worth it to run this combo since we don't ramp in the sense of lands much. Green does that, in case you didn't know. Cabal Coffers to complete the combo. It's a land that for 2 generic you can tap and add a black mana for each swamp you control. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, legendary land. It can tap to add a colors to your mana pool, or for 2 generic, you can tap it and choose a color and add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. Since we're running mono black, again, we'll have a bunch of devotion to black, so that will be very beneficial. Mirren, the Moaning Well, legendary land. It can tap for a colors, or for 3 generic, it can tap and you sacrifice a creature to it, and then you gain life as a result equals to sacrifice creature's toughness. Crypt of Agademe. It's a land that enters the battlefield tapped. It can tap for a color, not colors, a black, or for 2 generic, you can tap and add a black mana to your mana pool for each black creature card in your graveyard. Since we're running mono block once again, lots of black creature cards in our graveyard, so and it's like the only thing that's going to be in our graveyard probably besides like lands and stuff. So a lot of mana coming our way. Phyrexian Tower, it's a land, it's a legendary land in Dad, that can tap for a colors or for the cost of a creature. I guess I should say tap, sacrifice a creature, add double black, so it'd be nice. And then we have 44 basic swamps, and with that, the end of this video. Starring June God, Midnight Sky. Great job, Wizards. You did real great on this. Unlike another mythic rare dragon in the set. We don't talk about that. Anyways, but who am I to be complaining? Anyways, hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe. We're only at 14 or 15 as I speak, maybe, because I'm not looking right now, but I believe like a friend of mine may have remembered to subscribe, but who knows? It's okay if he doesn't remember, but that doesn't mean you can't subscribe. So go ahead, click that subscribe button, hit the like button. In fact, on all my videos, which you should go and watch, I encourage you to do that. Keep the view count going up on Will Help, Charterfang, all the other videos. Please, I like to see that number goes up. It fills me with hope that like this may even be something in the future. Thank you to like the 14 or maybe even 15 now people who are supporting me as subscribers, and all of you who are supporting me as viewers and commenters. Like I said, our contest as usual. Whoever can comment on this video first decides what commander guide I do next, whether that be custom or like real, and I will do it. So as you're commenting, if you and if you're like the first one, make sure to comment your commander that you want to see next, and I will dedicate a future episode that I can to that commander. Hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another video. Share this video along with all my other videos that you may or may not have seen, regardless, with others you may know of. And let's see, like, subscribe, hit the notification, comment. Yeah, that covers everything, I think. So do all that, guys. Keep the view count going up, keep the likes going up, keep the subscriber count going up. We're only 6 or 5 away. Like I said, I don't know because I haven't checked yet. And a friend of mine may or may not have subscribed between now and then. But so like we are 6 or 5 subscribers away from 20 sub, and then we can do 20 sub special. I'd like to see that, guys. Anyways, I will see you next time. Oh, something I've been forgetting to mention lately before I go. You don't have to exactly follow this guide. You can use some of the cards, you can use none of the cards. This is just pointing you in the right direction, kind of. You can use all the cards if you want, if it turns out to be cheaper than what you may be planning to buy. But you know, you have freedom in deck building. Just know that.